It looks like Apple has finally lost the battle and they are admitting that they were wrong. But don't worry, that is good news for you and for me because the iPhone and iPad are about to change forever in some pretty good ways. Check out this report from Mark Gurman, the most prominent Apple leaker out there. New story, Apple is preparing to allow alternative app stores. Yes, you heard that correctly. Third-party app stores on your iPhone and iPad, and sideloading on iOS. Yes, remember what Apple banned? They are bringing it back, along with a slew of other changes to make the iPhone more open. Finally, in response to new European Union requirements arriving in 2024. Man, Apple must really hate those regulators over in the EU. But on the positive side, digging into this article, it looks like the news of Apple allowing outside app stores has triggered stock surges for dating services and other apps, of course, because they're gonna be able to charge more because of those third-party app stores on the iPhone. Now, as soon as this news broke from Mark Gurman, the first thing that came to my mind was Tim Sweeney over at Epic Games with that whole Fortnite debacle. Look at this tweet right here. Looks like Epic is bringing back Fortnite to iOS devices with their own app store. Yes, it looks like they have finally won the battle because if you didn't already know, Apple and Epic Games have been in court over lawsuits over the past couple of years since way back in 2020. Now, if you don't remember what happened, Apple kicked Fortnite off of the App Store completely. That was a whole ton of drama. And of course it made sense because they violated their terms of service because Epic came out with this crazy video how they showed them fighting back against the big guy, the Big Apple. And Epic basically came out with a new software update in Fortnite allowing new direct payment on iOS and Android to get around the App Store fees. And you can see a screenshot right here where they literally showed that you can get a better discounted price if you use Epic Direct Payment, which of course Apple did not like. And of course, more recently, we started seeing that in other areas where Twitter, with their new Twitter Blue from Elon Musk, is charging $11 per month for Twitter Blue if you're on your iPhone, or you can just go to the website and pay only $7. Of course, the people actually spending the money are gonna be going to the website, so it caused a bunch of drama with Apple, but Elon Musk went and he met with Tim Cook, so they, I guess, solved all the issues that they had. But nevertheless, it looks like Apple is finally crumbling over all of that pressure from the regulators. But the interesting thing that I noticed with the replies to this tweet from Mark Gurman is, check this out. If this is true, then I think I'll finally shift to iPhone. Sideloading is a big deal for me. I may finally shift to iPhone. Dang, I might actually get an iPhone. And this guy, once again, looks like a lot of people might actually start buying iPhones because of these changes. So maybe, just maybe, it might be worth it for Apple to do this. Of course, they're being forced to do it, but it might lead to more people switching from Android over to iPhone, which is of course what Apple wants. Now, getting into some of the replies and quote tweets from the tech community, Jeff Benjamin, who used to run YouTube for 9to5Mac, said that as a former jailbreaker, this is surreal, talking about how he used to use jailbreaking to get special features on his iPhone. So this is some pretty interesting stuff, at least in his perspective. And somebody else replied, that's crazy. It's gonna open up so many opportunities. Now, Dylan McD8, he said, wow, I hate it. Sideloading is great, but an alternative app store, horrible. And I'll explain why he says this in just a minute. And of course, Joe from Mac Rumors saying, not sure that Apple has much of a choice in the EU, but whoa, yes, I was shocked as well. And then Max Weinbach saying, who's ready to import iPhones from Europe? Now, I'm not sure if this is how it works with it being hard-coded into the hardware like some people are believing, because it might be location-based. That'd be crazy if you could actually buy a European iPhone and get this stuff to work. Now, of course, That's because if you read more deeply into what Mark Gurman said, it's not going to be rolling out worldwide, at least right away, basically only where they are required to by law. And Sarenbyte says that there's no way they're going to be rolling out access to third-party app stores worldwide. However, you really have to think about this, because if Apple goes this step to allowing third-party app stores in the EU, basically the rest of the world is going to be like, hey, I want this in my country. All the consumers are gonna demand it. They're gonna want it because of all the EU people talking about it and saying how awesome it's gonna be. Maybe that might actually put a lot of pressure on Apple to bring it worldwide. And if you think about it, it's just like the whole USB-C situation where EU passed laws to make the iPhone be forced to switch to USB-C by the end of 2024. But the crazy thing is that Ming-Chi Kuo said that we might actually get the iPhone 15 next year switching over to USB-C, and that is probably gonna be worldwide. All iPhones, even in the US, might switch to USB-C because of what's going on over in the EU, so we might see the same thing happening with this whole third-party app store thing. Now, Sammy from Mac Rumor said that this is obviously big news, but the real juice is in the details. Who decides what type of alternative app distribution platforms are available? Do sideloaded apps have the same privileges as App Store apps? What security and privacy precautions are in place? Now, if you don't remember, Tim Cook actually talked about sideloading back in April and why it's bad for digital privacy, and that's because you're opening up your device to alternative threats or third-party threats when you're going over to different apps that are not fully licensed and certified for the iPhone. But surprisingly, according to Mark Gurman, it looks like they are folding and they're gonna have to do it based on the EU law. Now, in my opinion, I think Apple is gonna do it in some sort of way where they can comply with the laws, but do kind of like the minimal effort, or at least make it very complicated or confusing or difficult to make it happen, so that people will still prefer to buy directly from the iOS App Store because that's gonna be the most convenient way. But the real techies that really want to sideload apps or download from third-party app stores, they're gonna be able to do so. But now, digging into Mark Gurman's tweet thread, it could get even better because these changes could also be coming to the NFC chip and camera access, basically not having it as locked down and allowing you to connect to different devices. The Find My network for rivals to the AirTag, so that's gonna really help those other businesses that used to thrive but now got killed by the AirTag. Web browsing engines, so not only just Safari and other areas of Apple's software. That is huge for other people trying to compete with Apple's locked down ecosystem, and of course this might be why some people might switch over to the iPhone finally. But with that said, it seems like Apple is finally losing out on this battle, especially since Elon Musk has joined the battle in terms of Twitter and all the iOS App Store fees, so there's pressure from the Twitter side. And then if you look at Epic Games, check this out, only recently the CEO, Tim Sweeney, said that he's willing to go to the Supreme Court to battle Apple's control of the App Store, and of course, that's something that Apple does not want. They don't want extra attention, so maybe to avoid all of this, they might be finally folding under the pressure and changing their ways, which is of course good for everybody, especially the tech enthusiasts out there. And with that said, we might finally see the return of Fortnite on iOS, not just through GeForce Now cloud gaming services, but it looks like Epic might finally bring their own app store over to the iPhone. However, it's not all good news because there could be some issues with this, according to Maxim Samoilenko on Twitter, saying that multiple times members of my family would either be unable to download an app or would download a bunch of malware and viruses because they'd have to go outside of an app store on certain platforms. So basically, there's a chance that people could be running into some issues with malware or whatever else because they're not staying on the secure iOS App Store if Apple is forced to open up their iPhones and iPads to third-party app stores. So I'm not sure about all this. Let me know what you think, if this is gonna be a good idea or a bad one, down in the comment section below. But if you might finally be switching to an iPhone because of news like this, definitely check out the latest iPhone 14 Pro using the product tagging YouTube feature. If you enjoyed this video, click the circle button to subscribe for more videos like this one, and check out one of those two right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.